The game started out, and I thought it was a very hard-fought battle from the get-go, and there was exchange of scores, and we were fortunate enough. We worked hard enough. We hung together as a group and as a family, and came out victorious in the end, scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter to come out with a great win. I'm not saying we played great all the time, but I will say this: it was a great win for our team. It was, and I'm proud of the way our players hung together. The offense was able to get positive yardage. Like you said, we had one play that went for a loss of 1 yard, but for the most part, we were able to stay fairly consistently on schedule. We were able to get positive yards. We were able to move the ball, downhill. We had some good things in the pass game as well as the run game. We had some explosive plays. So overall, it was a good game offensively. Of course, Johnny Williams has been consistent, and our offensive line has been consistent from a standpoint of staying on blocks and believing that hey, if we get folks blocked up, that Johnny will make some good things happen. Jake Wenslick had a tremendous game from a standpoint of getting open, and Jake Brown, of course, found him, and it was a very, very good, and he found David Fallish on a nice catch, and so it was a very well played game from an offensive standpoint, and especially from a standpoint of spreading the wealth around. I said this in our post-game interview. Don't directly quote me on this, but we took 52 players down, and I think that almost all of those guys played. We weren't quite to that point where I think everybody played, but it was certainly a team effort. And we took 9 defensive linemen down, all of them played, and Spencer Moran had a huge game. Mateus Hanen stepped up and did a really nice job there. I thought Cayman Berg had a very good game. Cody Goldsworthy again was very active. Derek Single had some nice plays coming downhill and run support, as did Graham Hubble. I thought we played very well. Travis Tidwell was very active and made some big plays, as did Marvin Wright. So I thought overall it was a hard fought game by both teams, and feel fortunate through our hard work and our effort that our kids were able to come out on top. Clearly, that was a very big play, and they had a receiver open, and he came up and laid a big lick on him and dislodged the football, and it was a huge play at that point in time in the game. Was it the play of the game? I don't know, because you play a game like that, there's a lot of plays you can point to. The play we selected was the play of the game was a hustle play by Marvin Wright, where he ended up running down their tailback and knocked him out of bounds on the 2-yard line. We held after that to force a field goal. But there's many plays in a game like that you could identify and say that was the play of the game. And that's what you're hoping for, is that as players step up, that you can identify a number of plays that could be considered the play of the game. As we get ready to play Northern Michigan, this is the one thing I do know, is that the last 3 years, the game has come down to the very last play of the game. And so we don't expect it to be any different. We will prepare with our players as hard as we can to get ready for this football team, and we expect that it's going to be a football game that's going to go the duration, and we will work hard all week to try to be the team that comes out on top of that game. Aside from that, what I would say is, hey, if you're wondering what to do on Saturday night, come on out and watch some GLIAC football and watch two teams represent the UP and represent it, I think, in a hard-hitting fashion in what is one of the top leagues in the country, the league that produces the most professional football players in Division II. The GLIAC is a great league. Get on out, take a look at what's going on right in your backyard, and come out and support the Huskies and be loud. And their tailback, it starts with him. He's a great running back, and we saw that last year. He had a breakout game against us last year. He runs the ball. He finishes runs very well. He makes good cuts. He has good vision, and so it's going to be a challenge for us to try to hold him down from a standpoint of, in the run game. And then, of course, they do have some explosive guys on the outside in wide receivers and that type of thing. And their offensive line, I think, does a very good job of getting movement and being able to push the pile. And so we will have some challenges in front of us from a standpoint of what they do. Well, there's some similarities there, but there's also some differences, and that's kind of the nature of it. But they're solid on defense. They'll be disciplined. I would expect that it'll be a tough game. Hopefully, our offensive line can get up there and have some success running the football, and we can, and that sets up the rest of the table for us from a standpoint of what we want to do offensively. It starts there, and to me that's the whole key thing is we want to start by running the football, and then that sets up a lot of other things. I thought last week in our Saginaw game we did a good job of spreading, forcing them to play the field horizontally as well as vertically in our pass game, and I still think those types of things are always important. You have the versatility to be able to strike in behind them, as well as stretch the field and force them to play the width of the field as well as the length of the field.